Hello and welcome back to Macro Day right here on Scriptcase by Jamie. And today we are talking about a macro that brings your menus to life. And of course we've covered quite a few of these already, but this one's quite important. Now it's all about making your navigation smarter, of course, as well as being more responsive to real-time data. So today we are diving into SC app menu update item as we have here. So let's dive in, shall we? Hello and welcome back to Scriptcase by Jamie. Today we are checking out another one of those dynamic menu macros. Now if you've seen the previous video, then awesome, or videos should I say, because of course there are a whole collection of these for dynamic menus. Some of those were in the other week, so 2 weeks ago I believe it was, and there have been quite a few others as well. Now in those videos I've pretty much shown you how to create a dynamic menu as well as how to use the majority of these macros. But today we are covering the SC app menu update item, which we have so far not used within our dynamic menu. Now, of course, as per usual, let's check out first of all here the syntax for this, and that is SC underscore app menu underscore update underscore item, as we have at the top there, right here. And of course, this macro is then used to dynamically update an existing menu item. So this isn't for creating new items, but for changing the one that is already part of your dynamic menu structure. And we can see the example of that once again here. Now this is the same application we created previously, and you can check out here some of the previous macros for the dynamic menu creation. So we have the app menu reset, or SC underscore app menu underscore reset. We have the SC underscore app menu underscore creating the menu, and then we have the add item option, which then actually adds the item, or the menu items should I say. And at the bottom here we also have then the remove items, so that we remove some items depending on what we have here. Now in this video we are checking out the update options. So let's check out here SC underscore app menu underscore update underscore item, and then we have our brackets in here. Now with this we have quite a few syntax options, as we do with many of the other menu items. Now the parameters available here, they basically apply then the item label, the target application. We can add an icon in here also, and then define whether it's parent or child, all at runtime. And this allows us then to create or build these menus that are not just lists of links, but are really interactive and also, let's say, context aware, depending on your usage and requirements within your applications. And that can be quite important as you create a dynamic menu that should maybe display menu items depending on outcomes of your code or your applications or your environment or whatever it is that you want to apply. With PHP you can apply it all, and it's just a case of using these macros to their benefits, of course, and apply them within your application so that you can then basically take control of what you want to see. Now, we will use this macro, of course, within the dynamic menu, responsive menu, and also the tree menu. So each of these macros do work in these applications, and we use that here within the on application init, or even the on load is a possibility. Now, you can check the conditions, of course, and the requirements and so forth within the Scriptcase documentation. If you haven't checked that, do be sure to check that out. And of course, if you're a member, well, then you have a great deal more content content within the Scriptcase by Jamie knowledge base. And there you even have scripts all pre-prepared and defined for you that you can then just go ahead and copy. So, okay, let's return here back to our macro here, the SC app menu update item. And I can pretty much just copy all of these options that we have here and apply them also to this item because these are pretty much identical. So I will adjust here the item number, and with that, well, the item number should actually be the item that we want to change. So I will leave this as item 90. And here we have the Scriptcase menu code 1, Scriptcase by Jamie, and here I'm going to change that to IE Tech, which is then the company name. Now if I go ahead and run that, we should then see that this menu then changes from the Scriptcase by Jamie, which we have previously defined there. So I can then comment this out maybe, run that again, and now we're going to have two menus here, and then we're going to see that is no longer available because we've actually removed it up here. And then here it has been updated or added. Because if we have our if select code here, note that we are removing the item 90 right here. So what I'm going to do then is actually remove that. In fact, let me comment that out because that would make a little more sense. And then like that, we can then go ahead and continue checking this menu and make sure then that the original menu item Scriptcase by Jamie is there. And then what I can do then is remove here the comments from our macro or today's macro update item and then run that. And then we can see now that the Scriptcase by Jamie has simply updated or changed to the new menu option. Now, it is pretty straightforward to use considering all of the other app menu macros that we have there, and it's quite important to always remember that you need to define the item ID, which we have here, item 90, and that is then applied to item 90. Now, of course, we need to have item 90 available, and if not, then it will simply add it, okay, because then it will work as an add item macro instead of an update item macro. So that is very important. Now, it is important to note that this is a very powerful tool for displaying real-time data. So you can update the menu labels or links or whatever you like regarding what we have here. So even the icons or how the link opens simply by changing the macro parameters that we have here. So you can apply conditional navigation, change the item depending on who is viewing it, whether that be a user, whether that be privileges, whether that be even a system status, or just like last week's video, we can then change that depending on the browser size if we were that crazy. But yes, that is all possible. And with this simple macro, we can change the menu structure and personalize the interface as we need to. Now, it is pretty easy to use as we see. And with that, I think, well, maybe some quick notes just to make sure we have everything right for this macro. So there are some prerequisites, if I said that correctly. Now you need to remember, of course, that the SC app menu update item only works on menus and items that have already been created with using up here the app menu create. So if you don't create the menu using that macro, then this macro will not work. And the same applies to all of the other menu items, of course, or the add item, the remove item, and so forth. If we're not creating a dynamic menu, then it will not work. Now, it is important also to be specific. When you update, you can be specific about which parameters you want to change. You can leave the parameters as empty if you want to. So here I can even remove the link and just have the text, i.e. tech, displayed there. I can remove the icons as well if I wanted to and just have no icon there, as well as then removing the help information, and well, let's leave it as blank. And if I run that again, and then we'll see then that we have the same menu item without the icon, and well, there's no link now. It just goes back to the menu, and that is pretty straightforward, right? So with that, we have then the SC app menu update item, SC underscore app menu underscore update underscore item for your menus which, well, hopefully are no longer static lists, and they're actually alive now by using dynamic intelligent menus, which you can then also use within your intelligent dashboards that give your users real-time feedback as you need to. Now, if you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up, subscribe for more macro day goodness, and of course let me know in the comments how you are using this macro, if you are using it at all. And of course, if you are building some incredible dynamic menus, let me know also. I'd love to see them. And with that, I'll see you next week Friday for another macro deep dive right here